So we've done a video in the past about paranormal or mysterious items that have been listed on eBay. Most of those items had already sold, however, today we're going to be doing something a bit different. Here are 5 haunted eBay items that, as of recording this video, are still available for purchase. Number 5. Lucky You. This listing is for a brass flowered ring that the seller says dates back to the 1970s. The seller states that the ring's original owner passed away in the 1980s, after which it was passed on to the owner's roommate. The listing says, "This ring is a great find in every way. It's much prettier than my photos show. The spirit presence is female and uplifting. The ring size is a 7. It dates back to the 1970s and is marked Lucky You on the inside of the band. There are lots of enameled flowers and a peace sign in pretty crystals. It's chunky brass and really comfortable. The keeping box Maggie chose is old, porcelain, and fitting for this item or spirit. I don't have a ton of documentation notes on this ring. I dragged in an old leather suitcase from storage the other day. There are a bunch of jewelry items, 2 dolls, a statue, and other stuff in that suitcase. Typical storage items for this estate. However, Maggie left only minimal notes in her journal, or inventory log for all of the objects in this case. I have something on every piece, some more than others. I can tell she started by describing each item, wrote a little bit, left blank space, and then started the next object. She obviously never got back to it. For 3 years, Maggie and several of us furiously and constantly worked on documenting her estate. Some items are simply incomplete, but no less special or paranormal in any way. The spirit attached to this ring is Kitty. Kit died in 1982 of an accidental drug overdose. People thought she took her own life, and she really tried hard to connect with her roommate, who wore Kitty's ring after the death. Maggie wrote that this girl saw Kit, heard her, but the experience was too unnerving. She was shaken and gave the ring away. Maggie found it and Kitty in a 1984 sale. Maggie did note that she was able to get the message to Kit's family that the death was accidental, but this didn't have the anticipated effect. Rather than moving on, Kitty was energized and renewed. The bullet words Maggie jotted down are high energy, creative, bold, confident, floral scented, misty, swift spirit light. So there's actually a good amount of info, and I have no doubt this spirit is a positive presence. I love the ring. I did get chills and tingles when I first put it on, but I think that was just me sensing a presence. Number 4. Pagan Medallion. This listing is for a gold-colored pagan medallion that the seller says was created in 1910. The medallion depicts pagan gods and a lucky horseshoe. The seller states that psychics and mediums have been in his family for generations and that he can confirm the medallion's paranormal presence. The listing states, "When I initially found this medal, my intuition and psychic senses told me there was something much more than its previous owner knew, and my senses were correct. As soon as I saw the package, I could feel its energy drumming excitement within me, and I felt as if I were about to step through a doorway. When I opened it, the whole house grew still, and I could feel a vibrational energy force that was both strong and pure. I took the medal to my meditation spot in my home and asked whatever entity may possess it to reveal itself. I waited but got nothing. I knew there was something there, I could feel it. So I went about my business for the next few days but wore this. I thought maybe she just wanted to see what I was all about. One day, I was laying in bed and I placed the medallion on my forehead. I felt a surge run through my body. It felt like it spiraled down to my fingertips, down to my toes, and I felt like there was a literal energy coursing through my body. Suddenly, I felt like I was projected into a different place in time. Astral projection. I was in a circular clearing in a forest with very wise-looking trees. The sky was cloudy, gray, and white. I could feel a slight dew in the air, smell the cool greenery and bark around me. It was very serene. Then there was a woman in front of me with very long, cool brown hair, porcelain skin, a crown made of antlers, willow, leaves, and flowers. She was wearing a long dress, a soft white with cream, cloud gray and oatmeal, all natural, nude, neutral fabrics. Around her neck, she wore a medallion, this one. She stood before me and held out both of her hands to me, so I put my hands in hers. There was a burst of white light around us, and then she was speaking to me in my mind. She explained that her spirit and energy had been placed into this medallion, and that an evil witch had been searching for it with ill intent. She explained that I am to protect this medallion with all of my power. Then I was suddenly back in my bedroom, in my body, and I saw that 7 minutes had passed. This was by far the most powerful projection I had ever had. It's much like having a vision, like a dream, but I was still awake. I was aware of what was around me, the sound of the fan and air conditioner, and the TV in the background, but I was in a different place at the same time. You feel disconnected from your body, but not completely. You feel weightless but dense. When you tune into how your physical body feels, it feels like air jello. For me anyway. It may feel different for others. Number 3. Chuckys Sister. This listing is for a doll that actually has been making the rounds on numerous blogs and websites recently, with many calling it Chuckys Sister. The seller states that the doll is possessed by at least 5 separate demons. Below are some of the excerpts from the seller's listing. The following are some excerpts from the seller's listing. She says, "A specialist told me that she is a relic. This doll is indeed possessed, possibly by 5 or so head demons. The specialist instructed me to keep her in a salt circle to keep the demons at bay, but I just don't know if I believe this. As per eBay's policy, I'm instructed to tell you that this doll is for entertainment purposes only, and that the doll may or may not be possessed or haunted, but she hasn't hurt anyone. Yet. Actually, I've had nothing but good luck ever since I got her. I'm the original owner of the doll. She's approximately 34 inches tall with a solid body much like any other vintage doll. She can stand on her own. She's used, dirty, dusty, and evil looking. If she's truly haunted, then this is a must-have for evil haunted items. Even though this doll has received loads of press coverage recently, as of recording this video, she's still available for purchase." Number 2. Raggedy Ann Doll. This listing is for an allegedly possessed Raggedy Ann doll that the seller says she received from a haunted home that was for sale. I've modified the text a bit for grammar reasons, but in the listing she says, "We were called to a lovely mansion in Santa Monica, California that was having paranormal activity since the owners moved in just over a year ago. When we arrived, there was a for sale sign on the lawn, as the current owners had had enough and they were leaving. They called us to investigate what was causing the paranormal activity because they didn't want to take whatever it might be with them to their next house. The house definitely had high EMF readings, and the medium and I were both uncomfortable with a strong feeling of dread and unhappiness, a feeling that was almost palpable. The family stated that as far as they know, there had been no deaths in the home, at least none that had been revealed by the previous owner. There was definitely something strange and uneasy about this home that we could attest to. They gave 3 items that were left behind at the home from a child's room that were most definitely housing extremely dark energy. The 3 items were a pair of clowns and a very large Raggedy Ann doll. They felt these items were the only culprits due to their unsettling paranormal activity. They claimed to have witnessed these dolls causing flickering lights, unexplained noises, whispers, and weird occurrences in the home, such as 9 birds flying into their chimney and being caught there. The listing is for the Raggedy Ann Annabelle doll. Other items from the home are listed separately. Activity we have noted since having this doll in our possession are whispers of our name being called when alone with the doll. But the saying, "the eyes are the window into the soul," rings true with this doll, because as you look into its dark eyes, you think you're looking into the abyss. The eyes show different tortured-looking souls, ghostly Grim Reaper-looking figures, and dark hell-like scenes. This doll just looks at you. Look over at it at any given time, and it has this look as though it's been watching you. Our medium contacted the dark entities in this somewhat sweet-looking doll, and they communicated, "Anna is the name we like. We like to watch and show another side to anyone's future." Number 1. Possibly demonic. This listing is for a horrifying baby doll that the seller claims is possibly demonic. In the listing, the seller states that he received the doll from someone else who claimed, "I was in my second floor apartment. At around 1:30 a.m. or so, I could hear someone knocking on my door. I would answer it, but nobody would be there. Funny thing is, the next day my friend who lives on the first floor explained that the same thing had happened to him. It felt like the entire building was haunted." The seller then says, "Those are the exact words of the person who sent me this doll. A couple months ago, I listed a haunted doll that I had gotten from a lady who had 3 of them. Soon after I listed her, I kept getting emails from people who had their own stories of haunted dolls. In that listing, I explained my background in paranormal research, so many of these people had questions and wanted advice. Several people also wanted to get rid of the haunted, possessed dolls. I've been sent several dolls so far. I was just going to store them here, but the energy is just getting way too much for one home. I just can't keep them all here. I'll continue to accept them, but they'll be moved to people who know what they're getting themselves into, or for other researchers to study, examine, test, or experiment with paranormal energies attached to the dolls. All haunted dolls will be priced to discourage curiosity buyers. Sorry, but these are real entities and energies. They can and will cause potential harm unless otherwise indicated." Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, be sure to click that like button. Also, don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell to keep updated with our videos.